Hey folks, hope you're doing good today. Now we're going to do an evening show tonight, and I'm going to blag that it's the kind of music that we're listening to is the reason for that, emotional rock, and not the fact that this afternoon I went for a kip that was only meant to be 40 minutes long and ended up 4 hours long, and I've only woken up about half an hour ago. That's not the reason, it's because of the style of music. Today we've got a really cool band back on the channel. I love this band. They've been following the channel for ages and ages, almost since day one. They've made priority submissions and things like that, and they must have liked 99% of all of the posts that I've put up every single day on Facebook and on Instagram. Really great supporters of the show. They got some merch and stuff as well, and I'm just really on board with this band because of that. There's a good number of bands now who've done that, who've been with the show a while, who make priority submissions, who like the posts, who watch the videos, and are on board with the channel. And because of that, because I get that from them, I really kind of feel interested in checking out their band and being on board with their band and seeing what they're up to. You know, there's like a more of a connection there. There's loads of bands that come through on the channel that we only see once, and that I maybe added to the queue and pulled out myself, and it's like, yeah, cool that we were on the show, but they don't come back again, or we don't see them again for a while. But there's other bands as well that really like this channel, and really like hearing me talking about music and talking about their band as well. And whenever they've got something new coming out, they send it over. It's super dope, and I'm really on board with these bands. I feel quite a close connection with them in a weird way, just from having them on the show, talking about their music, and seeing them over the few years that we've been doing this channel. It's coming up to 2 years next month. So yeah, I love this band. I think they're really cool, and they're a different kind of music to what we normally get. It's not heavy, loud, blasted music or anything like that. It's very sensitive, emotional rock, with a kind of post element to it as well. What do they say about their stuff on here? We've read it out one time before. Lo-fi art, alt post pop rock for long walks, dark nights of the soul, and underwear dancing in your bedroom. And we said last time, yeah, that's exactly the kind of music they make. It's got a great emotional vibe. And it's got a sadness to it, you know. It's not kind of happy emotional, it's sad emotional. And I just love that in any kind of music. I think sadness and kind of melancholy is the coolest vibe to bring through any kind of music, because it just stirs the emotions in you. Everyone's got a kind of emotional side to them and a sadness side to them, especially nowadays. And you can just connect with people with that emotion, you know. Not everyone's angry and pissed off and things like that for them to be able to connect with that. But everyone at some point has had a sadness, a heartache, been heartbroken, whatever. And when you're making music with that vibe to it as well, you can just really connect with the listener and make them feel something through the music. And I'm sure that's exactly why these guys make this kind of music, because they're those type of people. You know, they're sensitive, emotional people. You can tell that if you read their posts and the things that they say. You know, it's not an act. It's not just for the songs. This is the type of people that they are, and it comes through authentically through the music. I think it was the last video or a couple of videos past, I said, look, all I really ever want from a band, doesn't matter what music you're playing, how good your music is or not, is I just want you to be expressing yourself truthfully and with authenticity. I don't want people to be faking it or writing lyrics just for the kind of effect, you know. If you're doing stuff like that, it's got to be from the heart. Because when you're doing it from the heart, the passion and the expression just comes through in the music as well. And you can tell when people are faking it or they're not feeling it. It's not really what they want to be doing. You don't get that vibe from these guys whatsoever. They're pouring their heart and soul through their music as a release of that energy and emotion from their body. So dope. That's why I get on board with these kind of bands straight away. They've got a new video for us today, a nice long one, 5 minutes 28. I have actually already listened to it, and I have got one complaint about it, which I'll just mention now so that you can keep an ear out of it. I really like this track. I think it's got a great vibe to it, a great sound to it. But there's one dynamic change that I would have liked to have seen in this track that I would have mentioned to these guys before they put it out, which would be The cymbal change, there's not enough cymbal changes in this one for me. It's all on the hi-hat, and I would have just liked to have seen them drop onto the ride, or maybe just a washy crash, but not crashing it, just kind of tapping it, to create a different dynamic shift within the cymbals, moving into the chorus and things like that. So just keep an ear out for that. That's what caught my ear when I first listened to this track. This one's called Tongues. They've done a cool video for it as well. Pretty much the kind of video that I tell all bands to make. Black and white, high contrast, and it just looks cool as hell. I just think those are the coolest videos you can make. It doesn't have to have all effects and stuff like that on it. Just a band in high black and white contrast looks cool as hell, in my book anyway. So this is Blackout Orchestra, their latest track, Tongues. I can get my tongue in today. This one came out yesterday. Sounds great.
Now it's my biggest problem. It's scattered with the sun. But now the night is falling.
I'd like to have seen a change. Bass sounds great. Gives it a real vibe. Dropped onto a tingy ride now. I think it would have just give it more vibe, change the dynamics and the cymbals. It's my only complaint on this one. cymbal change, particularly on this change now, has just been great. They bring in other extra elements to the choruses as well to pump it up in other ways to sort of widen it out. That's the only thing I feel this one's missing. Otherwise, it's a great track. These guys did a really, really great job on this track. I think this is by far my favourite track that these guys have sent through on the channel, and it's different to their other ones as well. This one's way more moody and vibey. It's got a sassiness to it, the way they just work in the bass and the drums for the verses, and the way the bass is doom, 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 doom. You know, it's just got that kind of sassy kind of vibiness to it, and it sounds super great in the mix. Great tone on the bass. The drums sound great as well. I really like this track a lot. I think it's just a great kind of evening vibing track. The vocal layering sounds great. The way they've got the kind of the let's touch tongues, and then him moving more slowly in the background, weaving in and out of those stabby let's touch tongues. Is a really cool way to do it. You know, it's kind of just working two different types of melodies at once. Great job. I think this one really, really nice. I would like to hear these guys go more in this direction with their music. Lots of vocal layering, vibey, kind of undercurrenty. I think it sounds super great, and it suits their voices, it suits their vocal styles as well. Very, very nice. Did a great job. I like the video on this one as well. Sets the tone for the kind of music. It's a very simple, basic video that, you know, you haven't had to kind of pay a bunch of people to get done, and the effects and all the rest of it. The black and white high contrast is just with this kind of music, and really with any kind of metal music, because metal is dark and nasty, it just goes, it just suits it well. You don't have to be kind of singing and dancing and doing a big performance in the video as well. You can just be speaking it into the mic, and as long as it looks cool and you've got kind of a bit of the right lighting, it's going to come across in a great way. That's why I tell so many bands to do it. So I think these guys have done absolutely great on this one. My only complaint still, after listening to it again now, is I do think this is like a 9 out of 10 for me, and for it to be a 10 out of 10 and pretty much perfect, I would have just liked to have seen more cymbal changes. Into the pre-chorus, I think I would have done a bit more washy crash, just to kind of build up the sound, and then when the rest comes in for the chorus, drop it onto a tinky ride. And that would just be such a great dynamic shift from going from the hi-hat to the crash to the ride, and then back to the hi-hat for the verses. And it would have just added that high-end dynamic shift to go along with the dynamic shift that came in with the chorus. So guys, just think about that in the future. When you know what you're doing when you're dropping into the chorus, because it had a nice bump up, you brought in extra sounds and stuff, so you know what you're doing with that. But just don't forget that a nice cymbal change at those times as well, because they're the only thing in that high-end frequency and making those kind of noises. When you do a cymbal change, it really affects the music in a big way. And it's a great way to bring in extra dynamic to a pre-chorus, to the chorus, or to a bridge change, which is important in this kind of music. So that would be my only complaint, to just really, polish this one up to perfection, and just keep an eye out for that one in the next one. Super great track, very enjoyable sound, and with the vocal layering and the male and the female vocal, they just blended together so nice that it creates a warmth, a vocal harmony warmth within the track. Great, loved it. That's what I got for you today. If you've not enjoyed this, you've only got to the end of the video. But if for some reason you did get to the end of the video and you think, no, I don't enjoy emotional rock, come back tomorrow because we've got some old school death metal for you then as well. So there you go. I enjoy this kind of music. I love that these guys are back on board with the channel, or still on board with the channel, I should say, not back on board. And they like all the posts and everything else. I really do appreciate this band. And I'll be following them for a long time to come. See you around, guys. Cheers. Bye.